All right, here's how today was supposed to go. I was gonna wake up, I was gonna go work out, I was gonna come home and make my kids a warm breakfast, get them in clothes, take them up to school. Here's how today really went. I came home from my workout, my kids are all zonked and in bed, they won't get up, we can't find shoes, we can't find socks. I take them finally to school just as the bell rings, and then when I get home to prepare for my filming for Paula Deen, I can't find my camera! So I'm looking high and low. I was gonna film first and then clean because, you know, filming for Paula Deen is a lot more fun than cleaning. But I couldn't find that darn camera, so I am looking in beds, in drawers, under the couches, in the cupboard. I could not find my camera anywhere! So finally, I find it in a place that I had tucked away after finding also 4.5 stacks of pens. Who knew that we had pens in our house? We're always out of pens. I found library books that were overdue and a stale pack of gum, strawberry gum, but it's not too stale that I'm not going to eat it today. So, whew, we're here, we're in business, and now it's time for a speedy dinner because after all of that cleaning and pickup, I'm tired. I don't want to cook, but I'm going to cook for you because it's entree week, and I'm so glad to give you this entree that I love. So I'm going to show you how to make a really speedy beef stroganoff. And I love stroganoff, except that it's not a very speedy meal unless you use ground beef, and I don't think that ground beef is nearly as good as beef tips or some sort of nice marinated steak that's been cooking all day. But since we're going to do it fast, and you know, now that my house is clean and our library books are going back, finally I won't have to pay overdue bills, I'm going to show you the fast way to make stroganoff, and it's amazing and so good. You're going to love it. So you're going to need 2 tablespoons of butter, and just throw that into a skillet along with some garlic. You can tell that I've had this heated up. And just saute that garlic a little bit. I actually have the minced garlic that I'm using that's already cooked. And then we're going to add about 1.5 cups of mushrooms to that. If you want to use fresh garlic, that of course will give you some great flavor, but if you just have the stuff that sits in your fridge for ever because it's in a can, you can use that too, and it'll give you some great flavor. So I'm just going to go ahead and saute these mushrooms with my butter and my garlic and just give them a nice flavor. And I might add just a little touch of salt and pepper because I want it to be really nice and flavorful. The butter has a little salt in it, so it's going to get some flavor from that, but you know, extra flavor is always good. So once those little mushrooms are sauteed, it goes fairly quickly from here, so they just need a second. You know, I have been so amazed as I've watched all of the, not all of them, but as I've watched through a lot of the Real Women of Philadelphia videos, because so many of you have such a rich heritage of cooking, and your grandmothers and great-grandmothers and your families were all together, and I've been so touched by those stories because I think that that's something that I really want to pass on to my children. But my start in cooking actually began, my mom has a bunch of sisters, and so I was in the kitchen a lot with them, but when I was 16, my parents got a divorce, and my mom gave up custody of us, and so we went and lived with our dad. Well, here's my poor dad with 6 daughters. I'm the oldest of them, and he has to cook and clean and do our hair, and some days he would actually drive us over to my grandmother's house so that she could put a ponytail in her hair because he couldn't. But of course, the bigger part of that was making meals every night. And so because I was living with my dad, I learned kind of a crash course of how to cook for a crowd. And so I really love cooking because it's something that I've been really anxious to learn, and I've read a lot of books, but also because it was a time in my life where cooking came into my life at a time where I felt like it was really a service to my family and my father. And so now I hope to pass the love of cooking onto my own kids in my own home without them having to cook out of sheer, survival technique. All right, once those are just beautifully cooked, we're going to take 6 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. And what I'm going to do is just kind of slice it up because I want it to start melting into those cute little mushrooms. And again, Brooke does not have a good knife. I mean, really, we've got to work on that. So there we go, our 6 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. And the Philadelphia cream cheese is really the secret ingredient in this recipe, because a lot of other stroganoffs, it requires a lot of time to cook and simmer the flavors together to get that nice creaminess. It also uses a lot of cream. And so I love that you can get this beautiful creamy texture from this stroganoff in a matter of seconds by throwing 6 ounces of Philly cream cheese in there, and you just have this beautiful thick stroganoff at the end. Now I'm going to take a pound of pre-cooked beef tips, and so they're in a gravy and they come like this, just a little pound. You throw them right on in there, and so this is nice because you get the texture of meat that has been cooked and flavored without having to do it in your own kitchen. So it's a nice quick way to get that beef stroganoff flavor. Now the secret ingredient. I'm going to take about a teaspoon because I really like horseradish. You can, if you really, really like it, you can add a little more. My husband is not a big fan of horseradish, and so I'm going to sneak it in here and hope that he likes it. Just stir that all together, and it's just beautiful. I love how the gravy turns this nice light brown color because of that beautiful Philadelphia cream cheese just working its way into the sauce. And then, now's the fun part because we get to make it beautiful. And I'm going to taste it because it's way good. It's so good. And that horseradish and beef as it is already wonderful. But this I really love. I'm also going to add, just to thin it out, about a 1/4 cup of milk. In your own kitchen, if you like it really thick, you can, but I'm going to put it over pasta, and so you don't have to add the milk, but I'm going to add it just to thin it out a little bit. And there we go. Voila! Stroganoff complete. We're going to grab a plate. Oh, this is a pretty plate. I love this plate. It says, "Love and wealth and time to enjoy them." And that's exactly what I want in my kitchen. The wealth part would be nice, but especially the love. So I have some egg noodles, and these are great big fat egg noodles that I found at the store that I'm passionately in love with. Just gonna pile those on a plate. I'm gonna take a nice hefty bunch of my stroganoff, put it on top. And now this finishing part is going to make take your stroganoff from pretty darn good to absolutely wow. You're just gonna sprinkle it with some shaved Parmesan. It's so pretty, and it lends such a lovely texture. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of Italian parsley and sprinkle it right on top. You can chop it. It would probably be a good idea to chop it, but I think it's prettier to have a big hunk on top. So go ahead and chop it if you're going to serve it to your family, but if you're serving it for prettiness, hunk of parsley, and there you go. Just like that, right from your kitchen, Philadelphia cream cheese and beef stroganoff, together they make an absolutely remarkable dinner. I'm off to go to the library. We've got some things to return, and I will be chewing gum on my way. I hope that you have a wonderful day and enjoy dinner. Bye-bye.